What is up, guys, and welcome back. Today we're going to talk about the Japanese for a little bit. We are going to invade the Dutch East Indies. Now, this is one of the most important invasions of the Japanese game. It gets you a ton of money, including a ton of bonus wartime money, which at this point you probably won't be at war yet, but it is coming soon. So getting a hold of those Dutch East Indies is going to be an important part of your game. All right, let's go. Okay, so when talking about a potential invasion of the Dutch East Indies here, as you'll hopefully have heard in my early game Japan video, you've got two options. You can either invade China or you can invade the Dutch East Indies first. And this video is going to focus on the second stage of a China first plan. So up until this point, Japan has been putting all of its disposable income into China for infantry, building submarines on the side to prepare for this Dutch invasion. But almost all of our income has gone into China, and we have not built a single new ship. So we're going to be invading the Dutch with the Navy we've got here. Haven't finished our aircraft carrier because we don't want to give those dang Americans one extra dollar. Minus, of course, the 2d12 they're about to get when we declare war on the Dutch. Now, of course, this is after Siam here aligns with Japanese, so we will be adding this Thai fleet to our existing pool of ships. All right, so what I'm going to do is set up a sample invasion here and walk you through step by step each of my decisions and why I made them. One thing to note, I did give the Chinese some credit, and we'll say that while we were invading China, their torpedo boat destroyer did take out our coastal sub there, so we don't have him available to us. Go Chinese. Okay, so we've got the Dutch East Indies set up down here. You'll notice I don't have anything around Java, Sumatra, or Borneo because I set these up down here for a little bit clearer of a picture for you guys. We'll start up here with the easy ones. These are all lock-ons. Celebes, West Timor, and Dutch New Guinea are an easy dollar, nothing defending them, just a destroyer and an infantry is all you need. Nice, cheap, and quick. Do note that Dutch New Guinea may have some Anzac dudes sitting here, so you may want to bring a transport and an extra guy, depending on what the Anzac defenses look like. I brought a guy down here to the Malukus just because Japan is probably attacking the Dutch before the Germans are. So taking the Maluku just reduces the Dutch recruitment roll by 1 for the Germans. If you can't spare that infantry or the transport, then don't worry about it. You don't need them. It's just a little nice gesture to help your German friend out a tiny, tiny bit. It is not super important. So, moving on over here, we will start with the easiest one, which is going to be Sumatra. I've got this guy set up down here, just a marine, an infantry, a fighter, one heavy cruiser. I know my color scheme is a little bit different than Panzer King's, so I will point them out as we go. One heavy cruiser and one light cruiser. Really crappy shore bombardment, but that's okay. It probably won't matter. You got to bring that Marine just in case he gets lucky on his 2. You will probably kill him in the first round. If not, then you can go 2 rounds, and it is very, very doubtful that you lose this fight. If you're wondering where this plane is going to go, if you watched my early game strategy video on Japan, you'll know that we are hopefully staging this invasion from 88 because it allows your planes to get that much further. So what this fighter is going to do, he's going to come 1, 2, fight on Sumatra, and then 3, 4, and land in here outside of Java in season 132 where our fleet carrier is going to be sitting. So that's the path of that fighter. Next up, we will do Borneo, which has a navy sitting outside of it. Please, guys, do not overestimate this coastal sub. You don't have to send too much there to kill it. It hits on a 2. So just in case he gets a hit, you've got a torpedo boat destroyer here to soak a hit, and then your destroyer negates its abilities as a sub. This will probably, and these are all probably, because remember Japan is going to be stretched thin in everything they do, but yeah, you will probably win this fight and be just fine. Now for the land invasion portion of Borneo, it is the exact same as Sumatra because they have the exact same defenses. That's right, the seaplane does absolutely nothing. So we're bringing in a fighter just to be sure, bringing in a marine just in case he happens to hit that first shot, and infantry is left over and you will be okay. And then we've got a heavy cruiser and a light cruiser with just some shot in the dark shore bombardment because we had them and we can. Now finally guys, for the big one over here is Java. Again guys, don't overestimate this fleet. It is head and shoulders better than the one outside of Borneo, but in the end it is just a sub and a destroyer. So we'll bring the rest of our non-bombardment fleet that we have available to us. That is a torpedo boat destroyer, 3 subs, and a destroyer. And we will be perfectly okay in this fight. We can soak 3 more hits than them with more firepower. You will win this fight almost every single time. Moving on to our ground fight, this is by far the most difficult one because he has a regular old infantry there. Be careful of that infantry. He can do some damage to you. So I like to be extra careful on Java. Don't send more than you have to those other 2 islands that only have a militia guarding them, because this infantry is what you really got to be scared of. So what are we bringing in? 2 Marines and an SNLF and 1 infantry. Again, that SNLF isn't necessary. I just like to bring as many Marines as they have units just in case. You can either replace that SNLF with an infantry or another Marine, depending on what you have. I usually have an SNLF sitting around, so I brought him along, but of course, you do not have to. I wouldn't recommend going less than 2 Marines and 2 infantry though, because at that point, if they get lucky, it gets a little bit dicey. And of course, attack bomber, which is going to be your killer here. You can expect 1 or 2 hits, maybe from infantry, and then your attack bomber will do most of the damage, as well as we are hoping for 1 hit from 2 battleships, a battle cruiser, and a heavy cruiser. Odds are you will get at least 1 hit from this. The average is going to be right around 1, so we're hoping for 1 hit to take out a militia, and then our guys on the ground can handle the rest just fine and dandy. That's just an example of my thought process on how we can handle the Dutch East Indies in one fell swoop. Now, of course, depending on how things are going in China, you may or may not have this many ground forces to spare, so your ratios may differ. You know, you may invade Borneo or Sumatra with just 1 guy, which isn't bad odds. He's only going to hit 1 out of every 6 rolls, so you just invading Sumatra or Borneo with 1 infantry, if that's all you can spare, is still not too bad odds, as long as you've got a plane in there with you to make sure that you've got the firepower advantage. And then of course, once you have the Dutch East Indies, start building your militia in there. Leave an infantry or 2 on the important ones, i.e. Sumatra, Borneo, and Java. And then you can send the rest of your big guys back to China if they're needed there. And of course, leave a guy or 2 in Dutch New Guinea in case Anzac leaves New Guinea undefended, or if they've got some guys there, then you're going to need some defense as well. It just depends on what the Australians and New Zealanders are doing down there. One more note, guys, we usually want to have this invasion happen in 1940. So you'll probably won't be ready by July of 39 when Germany's going to get the war kicked off in Europe, usually. But you want to, this is going to take 2 or 3 turns to make sure you've got all the guys in the right positions down there in C Zone 88, got the requisite amount of infantry that you're going to need. Got your carriers loaded up with your planes all around 88. So you're going to want to think about this starting probably in July of 39 or maybe even January of 39, depending on what's going on. And you want the invasion to happen in 1940, whether that be January or July, it doesn't matter. But just make sure you take the Dutch East Indies before July of 41, because they get some reinforcements from the game gods. The back page of the neutrals gives them a coastal artillery in Java, another infantry in Java, and some more militia on the other islands, and you don't want to mess with that. You probably won't be in a position to do so by 1941. So please take the Dutch East Indies sometime in 1940, July of 1939, if you're feeling really good, but do not wait until 1941. All right, guys, that's all I got for this week. Next week is going to be all about Great Britain in the mid-game. All right, love you.